Order. I'd like to thank the Nashville Predators and Bridgestone Arena for hosting us this morning, as always. So we didn't have anyone reach out for public comment today, and we don't have any action items. So we'll move to the next agenda item, which is consideration of the minutes from the September 12th, 2024 meeting. You should have received the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second. All right. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay, and the motion passes. Thank you. Next, we will hear from our Executive Director, Monica Fognerson, who will give us her report.
Good morning, everyone. We got a full house today. It's good to see all of you. The agenda is very straightforward. Following our report, we're going to have regular updates from on the new stadium from both our project manager and also from the Titans. The portion of the agenda that I really want to call to your attention is the Bridgestone Arena assessment report. I think you'll remember that the Finance Committee recently reviewed the camp. That's the capital asset management plan. And so you know this because we do it annually. The part that you may not be as familiar with is that the lease provides for the authority beginning in the fourth lease year and every fourth year after that to request that Powers Management hire an independent firm to assist them with the camp and to produce a condition assessment report, and then also a general summary of the capital expenses and those things that we would expect may come up over the next 10 years. The arena has engaged CAA Icon, who you all are also very familiar with, and so they will this morning present the condition assessment report. The authority, as you know, does not need to vote or doesn't approve the camp, so there's no action for the board to take this morning, but I think it's just going to be a really important that we understand and get a good idea of just where we are in terms of the arena's current condition and what we expect to see down the future. Any questions about that? So just a few quick announcements. About 2 weeks ago on October the 4th, Metro Parks and the mayor opened the greenway behind First Horizon Park. This is also the location of our new marker for the National, the National Votes for Women Trail. I was out of town, unfortunately. Our chair also had a previous commitment, so I wanted to thank Director Adkins, who made some comments and showed up to represent the board. Also want to thank, of course, Metro Parks and Brandon Little, who there he is back there. Brandon really spent a lot of time working with parks and communicating on behalf of the authority, and really want to thank him. And then also, speaking of Brandon got married last month. So I want to congratulate Brandon and his new wife, Abby, the newlyweds, and just say that we're very excited for you. Also, we've talked about Athletes Unlimited, and there will be a welcome event next week. I think I'm still waiting for a few more details on that, and we will make sure that that gets distributed to you all. We would love for you to come. Excited about that season, which will kick off in February. Any questions? If not, go ahead.
I think there was also an announcement last week. You were inducted into your high school Hall of Fame. Monica, go girl.
That was the best one.
That's why you couldn't make it last week. So congratulations.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Great. Thank you so much. And very proud of you, Monica. You definitely made an impact, so we appreciate that. Next, we'll hear from Heather Hill, Cummings Management Group. Give us the stadium project report.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I'll run through, you've got a report there in your packet, but I want to run through some of the highlight items. MOU items, those are the items that were kind of the approved as noted when we had the meeting last month for the GMP and the overall budget. I wanted to give the board an update. We're making good progress. We have carried the momentum and from the GMP work on into continuing to work through those open items. You'll see a list of open items there. We did have a meeting just a couple of days ago with East Bank, Titans, the design team, and planning to continue to work through. And I think we've got a pretty good plan set forward to ensure closure of those items in a timely fashion to make sure the project stays on track. As far as design comments, we did receive the 100% CD set at the end of August, and our team has reviewed those and submitted comments as well as updated comments that we've just been kind of tracking along as design has progressed throughout. So those have been submitted over to the Titans and their design team for review, and we'll continue discussion on those items as well. And those are typically just questions or comments we have that we just want to ensure how we're all understanding how those things are getting worked out. On the financial front, with the September approval, the state was able to fund the September monthly draw, and that was funded on time. There was a good scramble, as you can imagine. We had practiced, but the first time you actually go through it for real, everybody came together, jumped on board, and we got that funded on time in September. And the October funding process has begun. So that starts on the 15th of every month, and then has a series of steps that we work through to ensure everybody's on the same page before that money is pushed out. So that is all running well. We continue to work with the Titans, Icon, TBA, all their partners on their ROAs, so their recommendation of awards. So now with the GMP signed, there's a pretty good hustle to sign up those prime subcontractors on down for all the additional packages that are needed to build the stadium. So we're right there with them. They submit over, TBA submits over a document with a recommendation to award with all of the backup. The Titans, Icon are reviewing as we are reviewing that as well. Again, just making sure we're just staying part of that process, but it has worked really well to date. DBE, I know the Titans will have a much more in-depth update. I just would say we are continuing to monitor and assist the BAO, Titans, TBA, TVS, whatever we can do to help in that process and just make sure we're all communicating consistently. And then as far as construction, again, the Titans will have a much more exciting update, a lot going on over there. It's so great to see. We have our trailer. So the Sports Authority has a trailer in Titantown, and we have moved in. So we have folks over there pretty much daily, and that will become more consistent and increase as construction continues, and there's more out there. But just getting to be right there with everyone and hearing things fairly live is helping this process run smoothly. So that concludes my kind of highlights on the report. Any questions?
Questions for Heather? I have a question, and I'm not sure if it's for you or the Titans, but under the DBE and workforce, when you say outreach events, what does that look like? What are you envisioning?
So they've had outreach events for the packages as they've gone out. That may be a question that they'll kind of respond to a little bit during their presentation as well. But again, we're just trying to be there to continue the communication between the DBE community and the Titans and TBA.
So are they scheduled events or?
There have been previously scheduled events, and we're working to continue to see how that, again, can continue, even though we've done quite a bit to date to get to the GMP.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. On the recommendation of awards, what's the timing of those listed? Is it the next 30 days? Is it?
Yes, so basically with the GMP, in order to put that package together, they have brought together a lot of their prime subcontractors. So those things are just sitting there waiting. And once the GMP was approved, I think it might be 50, I'm looking around maybe for some nods. There's quite a few packages, as you can imagine, that we have to turn around really quickly in order to lock in those prices for the GMP. So I think there's usually a 7-day turn. We're working right there with them. We meet with them weekly, and we're trying just within a few days to get any comments we might have back to them so that process can continue.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah.
At this time, we'll invite Adolfo Birch with the Tennessee Titans Stadium Progress Report.
Thank you, Chair, for inviting us to participate again. We're happy to. As you can see, I've asked, I think, our approach from last month to be able to have a little more detailed pieces of presentation from those who actually know what they're talking about was probably pretty important to us. So if it's okay, I've asked John Gromos and Kellen DeCourcy to come up as well. Kellen, obviously, to talk about the construction progress in particular, and then John to speak really to the workforce and some of the other important issues that are related to the project. I'll kind of just slip in the middle and talk about the participation from a DVE standpoint, which I know is important to the authority as well. We're happy to report this month on anything that does not relate to our on-field performance. So I think...
Adolfo, let me just interrupt for a moment. This is found behind tab number 5 in your books. Okay.
Thank you. With that, I think, as I said, we're happy to take questions, but I think if we run through and you follow along, we have some slides that will help explain particularly the construction side of things, but you certainly are welcome to review the written materials that we also have provided. So if it's okay, I think we can turn it over to Kellen to get us kicked off on the
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to be back here again. If we could flip to the next slide here. Excited to share another productive month of updates on the construction site. This image here that you're seeing is about a week old from the webcam from the hotel across the street. Where we are on site currently with the workforce, we are seeing about 630 workers on site, averaging that number on a weekly basis. That number seems to grow by 25 additional trade workers each week as we continue to add more workforce across the site and every corner of the stadium. As you can see here, what's actually happening as all of the columns on the event level have been poured. We have about 1,350 total columns. I think about 600 to date have been poured. So it's exciting to actually see, you can kind of start to see again the field coming into shape here. Also in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see one of our future field tunnels, which will be servicing all of the truck traffic that helps load in and load out the major concerts and events on the field. So if we'll flip to the next page here, on the left-hand side, the left-hand image that you're seeing, this is an image taken from the main concourse. In the foreground, you're starting to see the concrete rakers that will support the precast seating bowl. This is on the west end zone looking back at the existing stadium. And then in the right-hand photo, you'll see some workers up there installing one of the embed support structure for the future archway opening, the main entry gate of the stadium that faces downtown. And then if you'll flip one more, please. This image, again, on the left-hand side is actually looking back over towards where the home team sideline will be. That's actually where the home team locker will be. Also one of the club spaces on the field level. And then also, as I mentioned, it's been a lot of the superstructure show that everyone has been seeing and what we'll be focused on for many months. But there's a lot of work going in the ground as well. So the photo on the right-hand side is actually a lot of the electrical and underground plumbing work that you don't see from the roadway is actually taking place on the site as well. And then if you'll flip the slide one more, please, then here you'll see an image on the left-hand side. This is the concrete crews working on the underground parking garage. That'll have about 175 parking spaces for the players and staff. That's going to be also, the lid of that is also being formed right now, and that ultimately forms the entry gate of the north side of the stadium. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see an image of one of our 2 large cistern tanks. That's the actual lid of the tank. I think that one there is 150,000 gallons of water that we'll reuse for flushing toilets and irrigation, et cetera. So we're really excited about that sustainability aspect. So those are the updates we have for construction. If you have any questions.
Questions?
Okay, if we can move on, obviously, there's a lot of work going on, and I think as a group, we're all excited about the breadth of participation that has been included as part of that construction. So these are numbers, they mirror the style or format that we gave you last month, really to kind of look at sort of the snapshot of what has been done, right? So this is payments received. This means work has been done, invoices have been made, payments have been made. So we know this is clearly fully in the books. As you can see, the numbers for all categories have ticked up in terms of the amount of payments, which we would expect. This is based through the end of the second quarter. I think last month we reported that we were somewhere at 10.7 for payments received. Now we're at close to 12. And then in terms of firms, which we also try to track the number of firms that are able to participate, that number has gone from 30 to 32, and with still a good mix of MWE, WBE, MBE, WBE, and SBE as a qualification for that. If we can go to the next slide. This is where we've started to give you an idea of the projections based on awards. Again, this is the same format. In fact, this is the same information because it was all based on the second quarter information, and we're waiting till we get through the GMP adjustments and all of that to update these numbers. So our next presentation should provide what we think should be some really healthier numbers.
So I just have a question. So you said that these are the same numbers as before, but I'm looking, and it looked like the women business owners were substantially higher in the slide before with 32, that 105 number. I just didn't see that same.
Where are you saying?
Can we go back one slide?
Right. Well,
Right.
remember, this is the second is based on awarded. It's not, these are projected numbers. So the first number is what has been in fact paid. So we're trying to do 2 things. We're trying to say this is what's already in the bank or in the books, but we're also trying to show out based on what recommendation of awards were out there that we know we feel comfortable this is where it's going to go. I think I probably also would just want to touch a little bit on, and it's in your materials, I would encourage you to read it, but from an overall outreach effort when we're looking at one community, since I guess there was a question about outreach, generally speaking, 2 things are probably worth mentioning. One is that the adult cohort of our Project Destin Sports Development development program is about to go online. That was a tremendous effort to get particularly focused on new Americans and new citizens involved in that. I think there are going to be 15 of those that's going to start coming up. And then also, I would probably point to our neighborhood business spotlight. This year, we had a sort of a citywide process to have people recommend and nominate the businesses that would get that process is basically concluded, but this year, everyone will have the opportunity to vote on the finalists who actually received the Neighborhood Business Spotlight Awards this year. So those things we think are important because they sort of go as part of this whole project, at least, in our minds, they're all kind of related. So I just want to at least turn attention to that, but please feel free to read about it more in your materials. So with that, I think we can turn it over to John to go over the workforce and other issues. Oh, let's see.
If we go forward. So this is similar information that we reported last time relative to participation, over 1,100 workers. The hours actually are a little bit higher than what's recorded there. Similar to what I reported last time, about 2/3 of the workers are diverse, and about 87% of the hours that have been put in place or worked by those workers are from the diverse workforce. So we're very proud to have that level of participation. And then the promise zone is about 25% and 25% relative to the number of workers and then the hours worked. I mentioned last time that it's predominantly a concrete construction activity going on. Kellen highlighted some underground and some other MEP activities, but the concrete frame will continue for the next several months. I think the percentage of workforce and the diversity of that workforce will probably stay fairly consistent, and then we'll see some of the numbers change as we get additional trades on board.
John, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
As you ramp up man hours on the site, I'm always curious what additional accidents or injuries. Can you update us on that?
Yeah, appreciate, Dan, the question last time. Adolfo and I talked that I think going forward, we'll include that information in this report just to proactively report that. Our goal at the beginning of this project was to have 0 recordable incidents. Unfortunately, we had 2 through last month, and then we've had 2 more since this last report, so we have a total of 4. The 2 incidents that occurred in the last 30 days, one were sutures, stitches. One worker had to receive stitches, which automatically counts as a recordable. Another gentleman fell, and when he fell, he broke 2 fingers on his hand. Both workers are fine. Both workers received immediate medical attention from our on-site medic. Both workers went directly back to work. So we have 0 lost time accidents or incidents. And from this point going forward, our goal is going to be 0 recordables. We learn something every time something happens, and we do a root cause analysis. We continue doing training. Safety is the first agenda item of every meeting that we have with subcontractors. We've brought on additional supervision, additional safety professionals to pre-plan as much of this work as we can, and then to ensure that we are training and communicating best practices to prevent any injuries going forward. So we will include that information going forward, and again, our goal is 0 recordables going forward.
Thank you for that. Do I recall that the first 2 reported injuries were similar, like stitches and broken finger?
Sutures and I've forgotten the second one. I'll double check that,
yeah. But relatively minor.
Yeah. And Kellen and I were talking, I think last month, Kellen reported that our average daily labor is over 6:30, and it will be 7:30. Our peak labor, I mentioned, is going to be probably 1,600 to 1,700 workers in the third quarter of 2026. So we will continue to add additional resources. I think where we are right now is about the peak labor that happened at the soccer stadium. So we're going to see significantly more labor on site and more building to build, and we'll continue to maintain focus on safety.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Next slide. So relative to the Workforce Development Program, which we have called TC2, we reported last time that there were 3 cohorts that were held. We've had 32 graduates. Of the 32 graduates, 20 have either entered the workforce on this project, the Titans project, or another construction project in site, or have gone on to continue their education. There are 2 individuals who are doing both. They're going back to school and they are working. So we're encouraged by those numbers and the participation that we're seeing. Cohort number 4 is scheduled for the month of the month of November. Cohort 4 will be in the month of November, and we'll continue to provide updates with this workforce information as well.
I think unless, Chair, you have questions, I think that will conclude our report for this month.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Chair, is this slide included in our packet? I don't think I saw that.
No, probably not in this format, for sure. But I think the information,
Oh,
yeah.
it's been pointed out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'm curious, any of the workforce development outreach that you're doing, is any of it geared towards small businesses or just individuals?
The outreach that we have done up to this point was inclusive of all diverse categories, minority, women, and small business, and we had great participation, from last fall through this spring up until when we had the final bid packages out for bid and for to contribute to where we are with the guaranteed maximum price in our final contract amount.
And there have been a number of different ways in which we've tried to reach out. There have been small events that focus on small businesses and diverse businesses. There have been a whole set of master classes that we've provided for small businesses to kind of help them get ready to think about what they needed to do in order to be a part of it. We've gone and done events in Memphis, events in Knoxville to try to reach those markets. I think a number of the different entities have held what we call office hours to let businesses come in, and many times those are the smaller subs, to let them understand the project and the packages that are there and try to see, the details of the packages. And then we're gonna, as some of these new packages start unrolling, we'll have opportunities for the businesses to meet and talk with some of those primes in order to really form relationships. We're trying to do that not just in connection with the packages, but, in general, because it's not, as we said, this is not about simply this stadium and this piece of construction. It's about building people up for the long term, and that can mean work on other projects. That can mean, anything that those relationships could build. So it's a pretty robust effort. We will try to make sure we report going forward as those opportunities are presented. We'll try to make sure we report on them as well.
Great. We appreciate it. Lots going on.
I think I was just going to address something that Heather had said. I don't know if that we touched on it, but there have been 20 ROAs to date of trade packages, and then there's 42, I believe, John, that are outstanding that have yet to be awarded.
Okay, great.
I have one final question.
Okay, please.
I love the data, and so you all always bring us back what we ask for. I'm just curious to know, are you all planning to provide any type of a pictorial narrative? You've done that with the bill, but we're talking about people and the DBEs, and be interested to just see some of the faces out there, and what folks look like on the job.
We have TBA has started that process. I have actually started that process as well to really sort of feature, as you would say, feature some of the individuals, because particularly on the workforce side, that's ultimately what it's about. It's about how it's impacting individuals, their families, in some cases one at a time, but to really understand the power behind how those people are able to take advantage of the workforce programs and what it has meant for them already and what they expected it will mean for them and their families. If you go to one of these graduations of the cohorts and see all their families there and see how they are responding, it is really an amazing thing. And we certainly plan to to share that so that other people can be familiar with it as well.
Thank you.
Am I reading this correctly? You have 100% graduation rate?
For the 3 cohorts up to this point, that's correct.
That's impressive.
amazing.
You should be congratulated on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Any other questions? If not, we appreciate that report. We appreciate the fact that we're working to build people up in the city of Nashville. So I'm excited to see how we do going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
So we heard a little, I think Monica talked a little bit about CAA Icon and the arena assessment report, but I'm going to invite Mark, and forgive me if I mispronounce his names, Farha or Michael Godoy. Hey, did I nail him? All right, so we are going to hear from CAA Icon. Thank you guys for being here.
I'm going to sneak up here too.
All right.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, perfect. I just want to kick it off real quick again. Thank you all so much for being here. Excited to have you guys here on a game day. It's always good to have a lot of energy in the building. Like Monica said in her brief remarks, as part of our lease agreement back in 2019, the authority has the right to ask for this third-party assessment of the building, which is great. Honestly, it lined up well with our overall renovation plans, right? Like we're always looking for ways to update and renovate the arena. Over the past 10 years. We've invested probably close to $70 or $80 million, and it was $15 million this past summer. So again, it's great to have a third party come in, new set of eyes, and really work with us as we continue to move forward. One thing that I will call out just as a reminder, at the end of this, I assume Mark or Michael will bring up a big old number at the end of what this is going to cost over the next 25 to 30 years. But what I would like to call out is, if you'll remember in 2019, our partnership and our collaboration, at the end of the day, we converted this building into a user-funded building. So the folks that come in this building, buy concert tickets, pay those ticket taxes, and pay sales tax are funding all of this renovation. So there's no money coming from the Metro General Fund. There's no subsidies or anything like that are coming out. It is a purely user-generated funded building. So again, thank you so much for your partnership in that process. There's no awkward conversations about how we're going to pay for all this. There's a plan in place. The funding is there. And so it's really exciting as we look ahead at these renovations. There's no concern about where the funding is going to come from. So again, appreciate your partnership back in 19 to get us to where we are. As we look ahead and look at this project and this report, it's exciting to see where this building is going to go in the next 25 years. Because again, 501 Broadway is the best place for an arena in the city. We're excited about it, and we're just looking forward to the future. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mark and Michael, who are great partners in this whole project.
Kyle, that's a good report.
Thank you.
I'll follow up. I'll go next. I'm Mark Farr. I'm co-CEO of CAI Icon, so it's great to be back here. See a lot of familiar faces, and I'll do the first couple slides, and I'll turn it over to Michael, who did all the hard work and knows the ins and outs of the assessment. So if you want to advance to the next slide, just kind of quickly, if you don't know who we are, we've been working here for almost 10 years in Nashville and done some great projects and look forward to doing more, but we're CAI Icon. Our focus and main core business is project management, strategic advisory, and planning services. So that's what we do around sports and entertainment. We're just celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. Next month actually is the official date. Taking all our employees out to Las Vegas, and hopefully we'll see how that goes. But looking forward to that celebration. You can advance to the next slide, please. Just a couple of stats. We love our stats here. 65 plus projects, over to date $40 billion worth of sports and entertainment work. Looking forward to adding more of that when we finish the project across the river and continue our work here at Bridgestone as well too. We're almost 120 employees, which may not seem like a lot, but I was employee number one, so I've seen that growth all the way through and look forward to the next growth. I think our projected plan is to grow by probably another 20 employees this coming year. And our strategic advisory group, you may recall, did the Women's Sports Initiative study a few years back, over 2,500 different engagements. And you can see at the bottom where our offices are located. You can go to the next one, please. Something we're very proud of is our work here for, like I said, almost 10 years in Nashville, and our logo's down there at the bottom, and the great work that and great partners that we've had here, and look forward to continuing that as well. And this is just a little sampling of the venue assessment work that we do for our clients. A lot of very similar to Bridgestone in that it's a multi-purpose arena, probably similar in age and size and scale as well too. But it's something that we do a lot for our clients. It's a really important piece, we believe, is for them as a go forward to make sure they understand year over year what it's going to cost to keep the building up. Michael, I'll let you take it from here, and then we're here to answer any questions as you have.
Thank you. I'll be as brief as you allow, and then happy to entertain any questions whatsoever. As Mark has mentioned, we do many of these for our clients. Many of these have different purposes in mind, goals. I have to applaud the parties at play here, because this is a very proactive approach to take an assessment on a very timed life cycle for a venue, to ensure that a venue like this that serves such a community, civic pride, entertainment value, just iconic venue that it is, with foresight to have these studies done helps inform the capital needs of the venue to ensure that it is serving the patrons that come to the venue, right? You have many folks that travel from outside the market. They get to know the market through the activities that take place in the market. So that's something to be applauded. So congratulations for being proactive in that manner. Generally speaking, you have the report in front of you. There's an executive summary with a lot of detail, and then there's 120 something pages of photos with representative responses or recommendations. I'll just briefly summarize. Generally, the approach that's taken with these kind of assessments is to look at the venue in a current state. It's meant to be a planning tool for capital expenditures of like-for-like equipment or systems or assets of the venue. And it's a planning tool for management to know what a 25-year outlook would entail. And so what we've done and what we do and what we did at this report was bring in experts in those specific fields. So in this case, we had Populous do the architectural, a lot of the interiors and finishes of the venue. We had Thornton Tomasetti do the structural evaluation and assessment of the venue. We had SSR do the MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems of the venue. And VDA, an elevator escalator consultancy firm, came in and did a third-party review of the vertical transportation systems of the venue. Each of them provided their narratives. They collected data in the field. They worked with the powers management team at the arena with work orders, historical information that they could provide to help inform those sub-consultants what the current state of that system, equipment, assets of the venue is, and put it up against life cycle industry benchmarks. Much of what we do is based on metrics. Much of what we do is based on general industry practices. So something that lasts 25 years through proper maintenance, care, and maintenance over the time of that equipment could extend beyond that. You might have experienced that with a vehicle. You might have experienced that with something in your home. It's not dissimilar to what we do here. So taking each of the systems at the Bridgestone Arena, breaking it down, putting it up against industry standards, using metrics that we've assembled through other projects, as Mark showed in a previous slide, we arrived at what you are seeing in that report. At the end of the report, there's a very detailed 25-year expenditure plan of when those systems, based on what we observed during this evaluation, should be replaced. And that's, again, going back to what I just described, the process, the methodology that we used in assessing the equipment, systems, or assets. I'm trying to be brief because I want to entertain as many questions as possible. In summary, those are compiled, and then anything that bubbles up out of those special systems or sections is in the executive summary. So you might find in the executive summary 4, 5, 6 bullet points that are further expanded in the body of the document, and then you'll find other areas that weren't bubbled up. The reason for that is there's some things that rose to the attention that needed to be brought forward in an executive summary. So a lot of care and attention was placed on that. I had a team of folks that helped me evaluate that and make sure that we were all speaking from the same review and point of view to prepare that report for use as this building goes into its next 25 years.
You want to advance to the next slide? That was
I'm sorry.
good information. If you want to advance to the next one.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a summary of the process methodology that we took. If we go to the next slide, you'll start to see those are the firms that we've engaged with. And then following, you'll see some of these key findings that we actually brought forward into this brief presentation that came out of your executive summary that's in the full report. And it continues, yeah. And it's organized by discipline, architectural, MEP, structural. That's how the report flows and how the executive summary is organized.
Please, yes.
As I'm reading through the executive summary here, the only thing that rises to the level of needing attention in terms of patron safety would be the fire protection system and fire alarm. Can you speak to that for a minute?
I'd have to dig through the report to get specifics, but in general terms, when we bubble that up, it's more about ensuring that beyond just the typical maintenance and annual inspections that are requirements that are being done and being conducted, we confirm that. Again, when I mentioned that we worked with the Powers Management Arena team, we would review those reports, review those inspections, and within those inspections, you're getting a lot of that third-party review analysis that then is addressed on a real-time basis. Our report would speak to things like future enhancement, code modifications, anything that's near term that needs to be included in any renovation or any improvement to spaces. Further, once spaces are renovated or used in a different manner, it's very important that those systems then adapt to meet those different uses.
So these are futures really in terms of the recommendations. I guess then I'll ask you, Kyle, as it pertains to the fire pump needing to be replaced for corrosion, it's obviously still functioning. There's no concern about that. Is there a priority scale that you assign to these recommendations?
Yeah, so essentially, this is going to be a tool as we move forward, right? Like we're going to keep CA Icon on retainer essentially, right, to help us move forward with these renovation plans. But on the fire pump, fire system in general, we just replaced our actual fire panel down our security base, which is kind of the core guts of the whole system that works with all our sprinkler system. So that's actually already been replaced. And so again, it's an evolution of cycle of just continuing to replace these items. But yes, there's using this now, getting it approved. I think it's still marked as a draft copy, right? Like we want to get everybody on board, everybody up to speed with what it is, and then start building that timeline going forward as far as what they marked as critical versus, some things are kind of subjective, but really diving in and making a plan as we go forward. So like next year when we do our camp report to you guys, we'll be informed by this document. Oh yeah, so these things were called out. Here's the things we've addressed. Here's the things we're moving to year 2, 3, or 4. So 100%, this is going to be our roadmap as we move forward.
This is so in-depth and so fascinating. I want to spend more time with it. But I guess that's really the question I have is as we identify opportunities to improve the building, there's a lot of focus on user experience and more bars facing the ice and all of those improvements which are necessary to keep up with other stadiums. But it would seem to me that particular fire alarm and fire protection would rise to priority number 1 simply from a patron safety issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So each year, when we're looking at our renovation plans, right, we're looking at those different, pieces of the pie, right? We want everything to be safe in the building, and we got to make sure we're upgrading the MEP, all those important items that have to do with the building functioning itself and keeping everybody safe. And on the flip side, we want to make sure that we're improving our fan experience. So we're looking at scoreboards, we're looking at seats, all those kind of things. So really with the help of CA Icon in this document, we'll better be able to prioritize those items and each year have things that affect both of those buckets as we go.
Thank you. Thank you both.
So were there any critical items that need to be?
No, and I'm not saying this because he's sitting here, but in my experience of over 30 years in venue management, I was very pleasantly surprised and impressed with the condition of the venue being 28, 29 years old. It's been very well maintained, it's good condition. There are systems that unfortunately are beyond their useful life. And so that's what the report is reflecting, that as we move forward, as any major renovations, any if nothing were to be done, those are the things that need to be contemplated moving forward in the next 25 years as those systems age. But no, and in working with the arena management team, there was a very collaborative experience where information was flowing both ways. Real life experiences, near life experiences in terms of 5 or 10 years old data that we were using to inform that report. So it was a very good experience, nothing critical, no red flags, but definitely opportunities to include in any further future advancement renovations.
So the Predators should be congratulated for taking good care of the building.
Congratulations. If I may, Madam Chair.
Yes.
If I may, I really appreciated that report, and I'm just sitting over here, like extremely proud of, how you all maintain this property. I mean, really exciting, and for you to give that vote of confidence means the world. I'm glad I put the hat on at the top of the meeting.
Looks good.
I appreciate it, but I really want to say thank you for your thoroughness. I'm looking forward to engaging in this report, but your summary was effective and communicated the narrative that we believe is accurate as we engage with them on a regular basis. So kudos to the Preds for managing and maintaining this property.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it. And again, I'll just call out the collaboration in 2019 to get, and even 2012, the previous leases, right? Like we continue to work together to find ways to fund these capital needs, not going after, taxpayers or anything like that, right? Like this building can stand on its own, and it incentivizes us to continue to book it and keep it one of the busiest in the U.S. to drive those funds. Therefore, we can continue all these renovations. So again, without your collaboration, we wouldn't be in the seat either. So we appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree with my colleagues over here that it's a great report, and I'm going to do the same. I would love to see in our next step, if we can, next time we're here, what priorities we did put in place, because I did get a sneak peek at a couple of them, and it would be helpful for us to see, especially around safety, and then outside of safety, especially around, I know you got to make the game fun, but I saw the escalator piece and immediately was like, ugh. So would love to kind of understand priorities better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And it's one of those, we kind of talked about it too. Obviously it's 120 page or 130 pages, a lot of detail. In a future meeting, maybe next finance meeting or two, if we want to have another Q&A session or something like that, we're happy to go further in depth on some of these items.
Kyle, are we complying with all of the NHL's rules and regulations for parking?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
None outstanding?
No, sir.
I have a question for the Predators. My colleagues have addressed a lot of the security issues and safety issues around the venue. I have a question about the future. It's a 30-year-old arena, and I'm sure as an NHL hockey team, you have a lot of things to consider when you find a home and you stay in a home. I hear there's a 25-year plan here, and that makes it a 55-year-old arena, and you have to consider things like attracting players and being a competitive hockey team. We just went through that with the Titans, where we had an old stadium, and we did cost comparisons and what it would take to keep that up to NFL standards in comparison to what the new stadium would be. That to me made it an easy decision to move in the direction that we did. I'm just wondering what your plans are for the future, and if you see this as a viable option for the long term, or do you see the day coming sooner rather than later where you may look to another building instead of what you're in right now?
Yeah, and Sean will be up here later as part of the presentation, so look forward to that. But I think the big thing that I would hit on now is, so we're committed through 2049 as it stands, right? So at that time, you're right, the building's gonna be 55 years old. Our goal is to make this the next Madison Square Garden, right? Like we want to make sure that this building stays modern, stays current, and stays comparative to other new NHL arenas. So our goal is to continue to update this and make sure that our players have the best facilities, continuing to update those. We have a new GM, a new coach in the past couple of years. They've come in and completely revamped downstairs, right? It's one of those things that we're constantly keeping an eye on. So like we talked about the fan experience, we talked about the safety of the building, but it's also the performers and the players downstairs, make sure that all of their stuff is up to date as well. So that is 100% one of our goals.
And given the challenges that we've seen articulated in this study, you believe that's something that you can accomplish and overcome during this time period?
Absolutely. Again, you talk about the user funds that are coming into this building through sales tax and the ticketing fees that are funding all these renovations. You know, that money is available for all of those pieces as well, so we can keep up with everybody else around the league. Each year we visit different buildings, UBS, Climate Pledge, all the new ones, to see what everybody's going on. You know, the beauty of this report, one of the things that you get compared to all these newer buildings. So those kind of recommendations are built in this report as well, as far as what do the new buildings have that we don't have, and that's related to stars, it's related to players, but also fan experiences too. So as we continue to update this report as we go, that'll be one of the key features that we pay attention to.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Kyle, after all this report, what else could Sean have to say?
Just you wait.
Any other questions? If not,
I appreciate the comparison to Madison Square, and that paints a great vision for where we are. In Nashville, it's obviously building up so much around us, so it's good to know that this building can be preserved for that type of time frame, so thank you.
Absolutely.
great report. We probably will want to circle back at some point in our finance committee.
Happy to.
Yes.
I just had a question for Sean when he's on the way up. He can practice while he's sitting down over there. But one of the things that we talked about several years ago, in fact, that I've been on the board quite a while, was the fixing the roof a little different and making it into a bar or a restaurant bar combination. Is that still one of the ideas that Sean's got in his pocket up there that he'll share with us?
Don't tell him, Kyle.
I'll let him have that one.
Okay. Thanks again. We appreciate it. Great report. And kudos to the authority for having the insight to have this kind of due diligence done so that we can plan ahead. So great report. This is the part of the agenda where we reserve an opportunity for our members to ask questions of our partners, facility managers.
One question.
Sure. Is there a question? If not, I have a question. I don't have a question, but I have something I want to say. I want to invite Adam up to share some good news from the Sounds, Nashville Sounds.
No, you gotta stand up.
Thank you. So last week we had our minor league baseball fall meetings where all 120 minor league clubs came together for idea sharing, awards, best practices, all that kind of stuff. And we were honored with the first ever minor league baseball driving diversity award. We were incredibly honored. Our team felt like we had a good chance, both with, it's an award given to the 1 out of 120 that truly makes their building welcome to all people through a variety of programming, through community efforts. I could sit up here and talk to you for 20 minutes about all the stuff we do. I'm going to save that for the meeting that we host next month. So I don't want to give all my secrets away, but very proud to accept it on behalf of our award. And truly it is a top-down, our owner Frank Ward, all the way through everyone. They're all committed to making that happen through all the programming, through all the passion, and again, it was a very big honor for us to get this. So wanted to say thank you for the recognition.
Great job, and I'll just say, Adam, I actually had the good fortune of attending an event during Tennessee State University's homecoming this past weekend. It's the second year in a row for the Delta Day Party at your.
Awesome. Yeah, we love hosting that.
It was absolutely amazing. So I appreciate the work that you all are doing.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
One more. Can I say something? Sure. Adam, I know we're going to
I'm not moving again.
I want to add thank you all, because not only to your diversity, I've seen the programs, go over to your neighbors, Jefferson Street, and inviting the businesses on Jefferson Street to be a part of your activities inside the stadium. So thank you, because that's really helpful.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Adam, just sit down.
Okay, the last agenda item for today is the Bridgestone Arena report. And Danny is going to kick us off.
I'm going to stand up. I just feel like I get my nervous energy out by standing up. Adam, thanks for standing up and showing me how to do it. I did tell Adam and Doug to pull me down if I go longer than 5 minutes, so I'm going to try to be brief, and then there's a few others that are going to come after me. But again, Danny Butler, Vice President with the Nashville Predators. I was also going to make fun of the CAA Icon guys about their thrilling presentation, but it actually really was good. It was a lot of fun working with those guys earlier in this year to go through all our facility to look at everything, and it's really exciting to see where the building is after 30 or so years. The last 13 or 14 that I've been here, it's been fun seeing everything that we've invested into the building and really seeing that growth over that time, compared to where it was to where it is now. So love being here. I know the team loves being here, and performers love being here as well. So really fun time, but touching on all of that, it really is an exciting time and busy time in Nashville. I know, the season just kicked off last week, ended a little earlier than we wanted to last year in May, but we had a really busy summer. We've hosted 29 events just since July 15th. So just a huge event. All in that same time, we did about $15 million in renovations to the building. So you talked about what we're doing right now to keep it updated. Along with everything we talked about with CAA Icon, there's a lot that we're doing in the building each and every day to keep the building up to date. So between those events, we did a couple fun things. I'm just going to list off 3 or 4, but it's really a lot. Right across the hall, we built what we call the Nashville Fun Zone, which is really just a cool area that is open for anybody of any age to come in and play street hockey, play video games, play some virtual reality, just hang out, come visit Nash. Just a really fun space. We renovated all the furniture down in Lexus Lounge, so we spent about $1 million just updating furniture down there. We redid the Wi-Fi throughout the entire facility. So if you've noticed, if you've been on your phones through here, it works great. Speeds are better than most of you are going to get in your house. So you'll be able to come to a concert or a hockey game, take a picture, and be able to send it out pretty easily. And then, kind of the crown jewel you saw over the summer was the California Closet Studio that we built. We pulled out 4 suites out of the building and about 180 seats and replaced it with just this ultra high-end exclusive club that kind of took the lower bowl seating plus the suites, gives an unbelievable view of hockey games and just an incredible view at all concerts. So really exciting about all the things that we've done in the building. On top of that, we pretty much have finished all of the flood remediation from 2 years ago. We have 1 elevator still being worked on, and then we really should be done. We redid the fire panel. Security base is all being redone as we speak. Dressing rooms have been remodeled. We've built a new wives' room, just a lot of really fun projects. So I will let you know, if you do want to do a tour, we're going to hit Nashville and 114 right after that. If you want to take a quick walk, I'll meet you over by the doors. But it's been awesome. But as you guys know, also, the Fordyce Centers have been a passion of mine for 10 years, 11 years since we broke ground on the first one. And I do want to say congratulations. September 12th, we hit our 10-year anniversary of Fordyce Center Antioch, so that's really exciting. And then just last week or the week before, October 4th, was the 5-year anniversary of Fordyce Center Bellevue. So really it was fun to see. It was so much fun being part of those construction projects. It's fun to see the Titans pictures and see those projects come out of the ground. There's something just fun and exciting about seeing things being built, and that's what kind of geeks me out. So that was a lot of fun and really exciting, and a couple people are going to come up and talk right after me to touch more on Fordyce Centers, because I don't think we're meeting there at all this year, so we want to do a little bit of a focus there. But we have brought in Janine Lalick to our organization. She is our Executive Vice President of SS&E, and she has taken over overseeing all the Fordyce Centers, F&M Bank Arena, all of our youth programs, and just all these really great things. She's absolutely incredible. She has a great background in college sports and merchandising and Ticketmaster and just this wealth of knowledge, and just we finally got smart, took me out of that role, put Janine into that role, and said, hey, you really take this and grow this into something that's going to be 20, 30 years from now. You're going to see Antioch still thriving. You're going to see Bellevue still thriving, and hopefully 4 or 5 more ice rinks and facilities in the future. But I do want to introduce Janine. She's going to come up and speak a little bit, and then you'll hear from J-Bo or Jennifer Bonecki and Noah, and then Sean, of course. But if you have any questions for me, I guess I'll take them.
Questions?
Oh, you guys are going to sit down? You guys are all going together?
Our team.
All right, there you go.
Danny, I do have one.
Yeah, what you got, Jad?
One quick question. What role have you moved to?
So I work hand in hand with Kyle now. So on all projects within the building, I think my role is SVP of Strategic Operations and Relations, which I really think just means anything that needs to happen, I'll play my hand in. So really, it's any capital projects, any construction projects, anything we're really spending any dollars on within any of our facilities, not just this one, the Fordyce Centers or F&M Bank up in Clarksville. I'll have my hand in that. Just with the years of construction with the other facilities, it's been a new role for me, and it's fun. So you'll see me a little bit more.
We're not letting him go. He's a resource.
I know that. That's right. Thank you, Danny.
I do want to, sorry, you guys have talked, or J-Bo, I think you've spoken at this meeting before, maybe. J-Bo's been with us for 6 years. She started as just a lowly coordinator, and then just recently in the past month was promoted to director of youth hockey and something, taking over for Kristen Bonus, who left for a great opportunity to be the director of hockey for the new Utah Hockey Club. So we're really excited to see that growth from within our organization and have J-Bo take that over. So it's exciting. Anyway, I'm done. Adam, how was that time? 4 minutes? I got time?
Thanks, Danny. Yeah, based on that introduction, I'd hire me too, so. Get to the true facts. But I've been here since January. It's been a great 10 months of being a part of the Preds, being a part of Fordyce Centers, and up in Clarksville too. It's been fun just to know what a community asset Fordyce Centers are and all the great programming we get to do through there. Grow the game of hockey, get kids out there to learn to skate. We've got some incredible programs with Learn to Skate, Get Kids on the Ice, Try Hockey for Free. Those have been enormously successful, so we're excited about continuing to do those. Additionally, we have two other guests in the audience here from the NHL, Sean White and Courtney Dina. Raise your hands, please. Yep. They are with the NHL Industry Growth Fund and or IGF. So we are meeting later today to talk about a number of initiatives that fund supports. It's really incredible coming from outside of hockey and getting here and learning how the NHL puts their money where their mouth is. We want to grow that game of hockey. We want to do some new initiatives. So wonderful to have them here. Later today, we're going to meet on some programs about Learn to Sled, so people with physical impairments can get on the ice and get out there and play hockey. Or our gold standard, which is really hockey's for everyone. Treat people well, be a good community citizen. So launching programs like that. And then the last one we'll be talking about today is Learn to Save. So it's hard to be a goalie, lots of equipment involved. So how do we get kids out there that want to be the goaltender? So excited about having them here. I want to turn it over to Jennifer and Noah to talk a little bit more about the initiative we got going on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Noah Robinson. I'm new to the team here. I've been 10 months. Been here 10 months. My current role is fan development specialist. So you heard all these great updates that Kyle and all them had. I'm trying to bring fans into the building, into our Fordyce Centers for our programs. Just want to give you a little update about what we're doing and what I kind of oversee. We have our brand new Smashville Street team. So what we do is we have a couple different initiatives. We have Presence Pixels. We also have a bunch of inflatables for street hockey. On the plaza we have shooting lanes and stuff like that. So really trying to grow the game. We've been to about 6 or 7 of the metro parks. I've done clinics there for street hockey. I brought my street team. And what we're doing is we're just trying to grow the game of hockey. Like I said, get people into our Fordyce Centers for our Learn to Skates, Learn to Plays, our goal programs, which Jen here will touch on here in a little bit. But yeah, we just want to expand the fan base, get people into watch the Preds games, watch the concerts, stuff like that. We also do a lot of data capture. So some of our leadership goals for this year was to really grow the fan base. So we want to make sure we're getting emails, phone numbers, stuff like that for our business intelligence team to reach out to those people, try to get them into the arena. Like I said, I've been here 10 months. It's a new role, and in the 10 months, we've done over 60 events. Some highlights there, we were at the CMA Fest, Ally 400, Nashville Fair, and any festivals and stuff like that in the area of Nashville. We've been there. And then our big piece I want to say for the end is with the Preds and Pixels I spoke on earlier, it's a gaming trailer. So what we have inside of it is 6 PS5s, flat screen TVs. We have a TV on the outside as well. So to these events, that's what we're taking, right? So we're bringing kids, families that want to come in. They play NHL 25 on there. And hopefully it sparks interest through a different level. A lot of kids these days like to game, so maybe, you know, they play the game, they like it, and maybe they want to try it now, so they come to our Fordyce Centers, come to a game. So yeah, that's all I have.
Great.
Amazing. Well, like Danny mentioned, I'm Jennifer Benecki. As you also heard, my nickname is J-Bo. I've had this for my entire life. So I wanted to give some background a little bit on me, just so it forms the whole picture of what we do and what our mindset here in the youth hockey department is. I grew up in a pretty hockey-rich environment, a more traditional market, so to say, as much as we don't like to say it. Right, I know. But where I grew up, I had 15 rinks within 15 miles of my house. I expand that radius by 45 or 50, that increases to 60. So an ice rink really formed, was the background of my childhood, my adolescence, and my adulthood here. And with the Chicago Blackhawks prior to me taking this role 6 years ago. So a lot of what my passion is getting kids into the game, onto the ice, and making it as accessible as possible, which I think as a Fordyce Center and as a fan development staff, we've done really well over the past 10 years of having Antioch open. We make it affordable, we make it easy for families to come out and try it for free, come out and with low cost programming, which includes a full set of equipment, thanks to our partnership with the NHL and the NHL Players Association. And then also with initiatives like Noah was talking about, Preds and Pixels and our street team, bringing the game of hockey to where they're at, introducing it in sneakers and in video games, things that kids are already liking to do, and then with the hope that they can eventually come back into our buildings within the Fordyce Center, learn to play, continue on into our travel hockey programs within any kid that wears a Pred Select or a Junior Preds logo is continuing on their hockey journey. And hopefully one day we see a player that calls Nashville home is drafted into the NHL. And hopefully it's more than one. I think we'll get there. But even more importantly for us too is not only developing those athletes to play at the most elite levels, but it's also making them good people and good community leaders. Because at some point, those kids can become us right here at this table. I started skating at 5 years old. I'm currently still engaged in hockey at this level, right? Or maybe they're one of you guys at this table down the road. That is our hope, and that's what engages us and drives us every day. A lot of it is our IGF programming that we've talked about. So it starts with our Little Preds Learn to Play. Again, that's that NHL model. This season we have 650 sets that were allotted to us. Of those 650, 400 of them are dedicated to Nashville-based programs at Antioch, Bellevue, and Clarksville. And some of those sets are also dedicated to our core program that's funded by Bridgestone, so that creating opportunities for racial equality program. So we'll get 400 new players into our buildings from there. In addition, we're still running our Preds Girls Hockey initiatives, so driving more diversity into the sport with girls. A big focus this past year on that side of programming was women adult players. So we hosted a women's Learn to Play, which we had 50 participants in. Janine was one of them. And then it also allowed us to create a whole new division in our adult league. So on Thursday nights at Bellevue, we have a women's adult program, which has over 60 women playing currently, and has just fostered a new community within our building. And then like Noah said, with Nashville Street Team, we've seen over 15,000 people at all of these events. He will be at almost every Nashville Predators home game on the plaza. So when you guys are here for a Preds game and you know we have a plaza party, I encourage you guys to please stop by. You can't miss us. We're a big gold F-350 truck and a 26-foot trailer. So please stop by, come see him, try it out. It's a ton of fun. And then on top of it too, like Danny mentioned, once kids have fun out on the plaza with us, we encourage them to come into the Nashville Fun Zone where they can continue the fun. Now we're playing street hockey here while the Preds are playing. So just a lot of really fun initiatives, things that we're going to keep driving this season, but also years down the road as we're just going to continue that growth, finding new opportunities like learn to sled and learn to goalie, just creating all those avenues for kids to play the game.
Amazing.
Jennifer, quick question.
You mentioned some hockey sets that have been allotted by the NHL, is that correct?
Correct.
And how many, again, was that? What was the number?
It's 650 total. We do partner with some rinks throughout the Southeast, so some of our biggest partners are in Huntsville, Alabama, and Knoxville, Tennessee. But 400 of those sets will remain here in Nashville to grow the game at the Ford Ice Center.
What do the sets include?
It's a full set of hockey equipment from head to toe. So
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Skates, helmet,
Yep.
shin guards, everything, a stick, a jersey that's branded, Preds. So it's everything and it's theirs to keep.
Okay, that's
cool.
great.
I had one question. You actually sort of touched on it. Celebrating 10 years of Ford Ice is a long enough time that some of the youth in our programs might have graduated on to college hockey or even the NHL one day. Do you guys track that? And if so, have any of our youngsters involved in these programs gone on to college hockey?
I think a lot of them right now are playing in the junior hockey system. Youth hockey, elite hockey is a little bit different than most sports. You know, if you're on the elite track, I'll take football, for example, right? Your next elite track for football is college football and at the NCAA level into the NFL. Hockey's a little different in that your traditional pathway isn't probably to an NCAA program. It might be through one of the many junior systems. So we do have a lot of players that have come through that are currently drafted to junior teams. I know the junior Preds just had a couple commits, one to St. Cloud State this past week. And then I know on the girls' side, we have 2 now NCAA Division I athletes on the girls' program as well. Cool. So I think we'll really start to see, since the junior Predators took hold here, we will start to see within the next 5 years or so, many more of those athletes committing to play at another high level.
That's great. Thank you.
I have one question regarding the kids zone. Do you all, like, where are the kids coming from? Are y'all advertising in schools? Or like me and my family had tickets, could my kids just come to the kids zone? I mean, how is that?
Yeah, so like Danny mentioned, we'll be able to pop in. It's just across the hall over here. So it will become a main entrance right off of the side of the box office. So you do have to have a ticket to that Nashville Predators game to be in here, but fans of all ages can come in. Like I said, we'll have the main entrance by the box office, but then through here in the fan information area, they'll be able to walk in. So any kid, it is still relatively new. It's only been open for 3 games. So we're doing a lot of in-game reads. You'll see it on our Jumbotron. It's gone out to all of our kids club members, our youth hockey members, so that they know that when they're here to watch their favorite team, that they can go in and have that space pre-game, intermissions, but we're open till the very end of the game. So we have, many of our kids are with us the whole time. So we did install, I think it's about 9 TVs in there, so that everybody can watch the game even if they're not at their seat.
Thank you.
I have a comment.
I'm sorry. Yes. Hi, I'm one of the newest members to the board. I would like to know, well, I'll tell you one thing. I had the great experience of attending the reception last year. I wasn't able to attend this year. And I had the privilege of also attending the game with the t-shirt on. And no one told me that the ice was really, really cold. But I've learned a lesson. In that experience, though, I kind of forgot that I was cold because it was electric. So, you know, I was excited for somebody to score so I could yell. But that's really exciting. I wanted to know, I know you all spoke about Metro. Do you have any initiatives for the homeschool area of Nashville, Clarksville? Do you all do any kind of reach out? Because I know a ton of my parents, and I'm a tennis mom, so we see a lot from Centennial, and I see a lot of kids go in and out of the facility across from us with all the gear. I mean, a ton of gear, those little people carrying those big bags. But I was wondering, because I know a bunch of parents who are interested in different areas of sports, do you all have any initiative that reaches out to homeschools?
Yeah, our Learn to Skate program for the longest time has had a homeschool Learn to Skate session. I believe at Antioch it was on Wednesdays. Danny, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it may have been that date. I think the landscape has changed a little bit since the pandemic, and it's one of those things we're still getting into. We do encourage everyone to come to our existing programs with our Try Hockey for Free as our Learn to Plays in that 5 o'clock slot. It's probably the most manageable for those homeschool families to maybe leave home a little bit early and battle the Nashville traffic to get into the rinks. But that is absolutely something we can continue to explore.
Awesome, thank you.
Great.
I just wanted to say it's great to meet you all. This is a great report, and I wanted to say thank you. I was going to say my thank you for you, Sean, but I'm realizing that you got a lot of people in place doing the things. But I also just wanted to say thank you to you all for your presence in the community. I've seen you all so much lately, even just as recently as the TSU homecoming parade. And I know you all are on the campus on Wednesdays at Tabletop Wednesdays, interacting with college students as well. And it's just quite a pleasure. So I was actually overwhelmed by your report as well. Like, keep doing the good things. It's needed. We appreciate it. So I just wanted to give you all a personal kudos.
Thank you.
Great. Other questions, comments? If not, excellent report. I was thinking, I love the way that you all are focused on growing the game, and I see you growing it from outside to in, but also from bottom to the top. So I appreciate the concept, love it. I love that you are reaching out to the communities and the kids. So thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
I think I was responsible too for introducing Sean, so that you guys can now ask him all the hard questions that you've been saving this entire time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, J-Bo. You know, we don't do modesty well in our organization, but Danny, of all people, is modest, which is bizarre. But J-Bo always is. What she didn't tell you, she's been carrying Janine through adult hockey, learning to play. Outside of the 46 NHL players on the ice tonight, J-Bo will be the best hockey player in the building. I'm sure it is incredible. She once said in a very unhumble moment, she could score 20 goals a game if she chose to. Is that correct, Janine? Yeah. And but she chooses not to. I always chose not to as well for a lot of reasons, mostly skill. But I just want to say thank you for really highlighting the best part of our organization. There are a lot of people to thank. We have a lot of really good people, and then sitting behind me, we have two great people from the NHL too, which have really taken our game and said, okay, how do we change the game? How do we get more kids playing? How do we make it more open and more people? And you know, Sean and his team, they're just tremendous. When we started the IGF 15,
We're on
11 or 15 years, whatever it was, ago, the focus was pretty simple. The NHL will work with every team that wants to do more in the community. And what's really neat about that, we have 32 teams in the league now. All 32 are choosing to do it, even the markets that are really strong. So we all get a chance to grow from each other. The other is, every time you denigrated my name, Sean, he started getting angry. He thought it was him. And he played in the NHL, and he was kind of a fighter. So I'll turn to Sean. When they start making fun of me again, Sean, get up here. We're teammates, man. But I also, Russ, I wanted to hit your comment more so than anything else, because one of the things that you said was, can the building last? I mean, truly, for 25 more years, 60 more years. And when you were on the council back in 2018, 2019, obviously some of you were on the board, when we said, you know what, let's take this lease out another 30 years or whatever it was and take it through 2049. We could have taken it through 2069, 2089, because if you invest in the building properly, if you look at what we can do, where we're going to go, and not wait till things are broken, but have a really good preventive maintenance plan. It was so nice to hear. We had it. You thought we do. Experts come in and say we do. You can have a building last forever. I mean, the most iconic buildings in the country aren't iconic because you win championships or the best concerts or whatever it is. It's they're multi-generational. It's where your grandparents met or whatever it may be. And that's what we want to be. We want to be the place that, you know, a grandfather is telling his granddaughter, I saw my first hockey game here, and this is who was playing. You know, Shea Weber was just getting him Hall of Fame, was the greatest Pred ever, yet now there are 10 other Hall of Famers from here. That's what we want to create. The other is, if somebody said, we're going to give you billions of dollars to build a brand new arena, it just can't be here, where would you put it? You would say no, and that's what we did. So again, I just want to thank the council back then for unanimous approval. I don't know how many unanimous votes are on the council. I've never seen one except for ours, but then also this board. I mean, Monica's leadership in saying, let's figure out, can we do it? So we did a lot of studies to make sure we could, and it turns out not only can we do it, I hated Danny's report or Kyle's report. In one exception, he said, yeah, we look at Madison Square Garden and use that as a model. We don't. They use us as a model. Like, I love, they answer the phone, world's most famous arena. We answer ours, world's best arena. And we don't, but we should, shouldn't we? Yeah, we start doing that today. But it really is cool. When I got here, and you remember on the board, you were responsible for keeping this building as modern as these other great cities. And it was some awful cities. Like it was Kansas City and Charlotte. And I don't even know. Like it was like B markets, B venues. But it was your responsibility for us to give you a list of things that you needed to invest in to keep the building modern. And we said, well, let's reverse that. And we started that in 2012. Said it's our responsibility to invest in the building. And between 2010 and this year, we've invested over $150 million in the building of non-general fund money, non-metro money. And we're proud of it because it allows us to do great things. Kyle said we're one of the busiest venues in America. We'll talk to him later. We're one of the busiest venues in the world. And it's because the building's modern. And the other is, a few people talk about priorities. How do you prioritize safety or enhancements or fun? We don't. We just don't prioritize. We have 5 constituents in everything that we do, and that's our players, it's our performers, it's our partners, it's our fans, and most importantly, it's our employees. So whenever we make a decision to invest in something, whether it's new Wi-Fi, a new club, a new locker room, we always want to hit at least 3 of those constituents, and more often than not, you're hitting at least 4, if not 5. And if you do that, every time you invest in a new club, you address your ADA needs. When you invest in a new Wi-Fi system, you invest in a new emergency reaction system. So they all fit together really, really well. And I think we're going to see over the next maybe 18 months when we really unveil what we want to do with the building, both internally from a renovation standpoint to make the building bigger and better and more efficient, and then also tie into what's happened at 5th and Broad across the street with some really fun in and out restaurants and concepts. This building is going to be the one 15, 20, 25 years from now that the brand new building in Milwaukee is going to say, man, should we do another 25-year lease? Can we keep up with Bridgestone Arena? That's what we're striving for. One, for ego, but the other, it's the right thing to do. This has been a great partnership. We just want to say thank you for it. I also want to add the comment about youth hockey going to college hockey. When you talk about elite hockey, J-Bo did a great job of outlining that. But what's really important about youth hockey isn't creating future NHL players. I hope we do. Like I said, it'll be nothing better. You know, we have 3 or 4 guys on our roster that grew up playing hockey here and got to stay to play elite hockey. But I think we had 45 kids graduate from high school last year that are all playing college hockey. Some's club hockey, Division III hockey. And we all know if kids play sports, life is going to be better for them, no matter what level they play in, elite level or just rec level. And it's pretty neat when you get a chance to say, man, look at that kid. I just got pictures from a young man whose mom runs Room in the Inn, who's playing at Louisville right now, who, I don't know if my son's here. He's out by coffee. Greg Heino taught him well, never be around anyone. But he coached him, and it's fun to see. You have 30 high school coaches that are teaching kids that they can go on and play hockey anywhere. And then you'll have people, playing hockey until they're 60, 70 years old. I mean, Jed, are you still playing?
No.
Well, bad example, though.
Ow.
But again, I just want to say thank you. We would not have been able to do all these things without the partnership, without the vision of what you had. And, Peter Heinrich sitting over there behind me, he's pushing the city forward for 50 years. He was one of our partners that got our lease redone in 2012, 2019. But his vision, Mayor Bredesen's vision of taking civic furniture and putting it in parts of town where you want development around, sure played well with our report on Fordyce Center. And what we did in Antioch is special. What's happening in Bellevue is special. What's happening in Clarksville is really, really special. And we're more proud of that than almost anything else we do because it'll have legacy beyond legacy. There are kids doing activities they wouldn't do normally, and it just makes us a better community. So again, thank you. Answer, Emmett, I know you have a question. Oh! Well, hopefully you guys come to the game tonight because tonight we're getting in the win column. This is going to be a good home stretch. Let's start playing hockey. I mean, you look at some of the guys that we added this offseason. Barry Trotz, being a great GM, said it's going to take a few games for everyone to gel together, and I think we saw that, and ideally we see the gelling come together tonight. But of those guys that came in, you talk about youth hockey, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, both have kids that are playing in the junior Preds system and the rec hockey system. You add that to Luke Shen, who's already here. His kids are playing. As much as I love Stephen Henry as a high school coach, and he's really, I hear he's the best, Every once in a while, when you look out on the ice and Steven Stamkos is teaching your daughter or your son how to take a one-timer, that's pretty special too. And that only happens in Nashville. So, Russ, you got a question. I can tell, man. You're
I
pipe.
got more comments than questions, but no, I do. I appreciate what you said, and I'm glad that you brought that point up about Bredesen's vision, because you may remember he took an awful lot of heat for putting an arena without a tenant in the downtown area, and what a brilliant move that turned out to be. And you're right when you say, if you want to build a new arena, where are you going to put it? That's kind of hard. I'm glad to hear what you said about the viability of the building moving forward. And you did bring up a really good point about some of the iconic venues around the league. In baseball, we see Wrigley Field and Fenway Park being refurbished. And I'm glad that you see that as the future of Bridgestone Arena. That's good, because I enjoy coming here. And so I'm going to hold you to that comment about the win tonight, because at 0-3, we're going to get our first one against McDavid and Draisaitl, huh?
Yeah, it's two really good teams, two of the best teams in the league coming together. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Get to see two of our favorite players come back and visit, and Ekholm and Arvidsson. And hopefully we get to see them leave a little sad, too. That's the goal. That's the plan.
I like
it.
Yeah, but you're right. Coming together. I appreciate the moves in the offseason. We're excited about the future.
Yeah, me too. So,
Any other questions?
You mentioned your employees. How many employees do you have that work here?
we're about 400 full-time employees, about 1,000 part-time employees between the four venues, which is a pretty impressive number. About 15 years ago when this local ownership team took over, I think we had 75 or 80 full-time employees. So it's amazing to watch it grow within our building. We went from the 55th busiest building in the country to the busiest building in the world. You do that by investing in people and growing them. And then, of course, getting outside of our building. We're in 4 buildings now, programs everywhere. So it's pretty rewarding. And then a lot of those employees that have been here have gone on to leadership roles with other teams. So it's great. And you're welcome for Clarksville. Near and dear to your heart. So,
Any other questions?
well, we'll see you tonight. Thanks for coming to the tour last week. If you can make it, if you didn't, we're always available to walk through the building whenever you want to. It's just always fun, and Kyle will buy you lunch when you do it. So, thank you guys.
Thank you. Oh, excuse me, Sean, I do have one quick question. Would you mind if we recognize today as the official Sean Henry birthday day?
No, I would mind. It's not my birthday. I am 56 years old today. That may change tomorrow, but we can applaud that tomorrow, not today, man. Well, thank you so much. Are you going to sing?
I don't have the gift. Okay, so it's been a great meeting, and we thank the Predators for that report, but that concludes our agenda for today. The next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, November 21st at First Horizon Park. Are there any final questions, remarks?
Madam Chair, I'd like to remind everyone, Monday, November the 11th is Veterans Day. Nashville will have a Veterans Day parade coming down Broadway that starts at 11 o'clock on Monday the 11th. I'd like to see all of you out there. Thank you.
Great.
And I also have one more thing. We want to congratulate Emmett Wynn on 45 years of marriage. Woo. Congratulations to you and Brenda.
I can't believe he doesn't have anything to say.
Well, 45 years has been joyous. I tell my wife that often. And I am glad that I have been with the Sports Authority for several years. I don't even know how many now. But I think it's been 6 mayors since I started. So
Awesome.
I've been trying to help.
Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
But thank you. But for
Any
Sean
other-
and for Kyle, I remember when you guys first started talking about how you were going to continue to build the building up, make sure that the building was going to be here, and it has come successful. I ride by sometimes just to see the building.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for your time, your presence. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.